What do you want to be when you grow up? At least in one point in our lives, we've probably been asked this question, whether it was for school or for some sort of activity. And you would have answers like a firefighter, a pilot, or a wizard. The same question follows you as you grow up, constantly showing up at different points in life. But as you grow older, it becomes a very common question, almost like that one annoying student who just can't seem to leave you alone. When you approach high school, early on in the 9th grade, suddenly everyone is so interested in what kind of college you want to go to, or what major you want to specialize in, where the only answer you would have is, I'm still not sure about it. This is all rooted to the constant nagging. You get this with school, family members, and even with time. All these external factors keep on banging at your door with all of these questions that you don't have answers to. Make no mistake, you're trying your best to push that door and lock it, but you can't. Meanwhile, the little voice in your head is telling yourself things like, why can't you decide already? Pushing your self-esteem down along with yourself. The pressure caused by all of these external factors forbid a teenager just like me to decide their future and their own path in a fun and enjoyable way, as it should be. I started noticing these naggings whenever I went to family gatherings. You know, you greet a bunch of grandparents, aunts, and uncles, and they try to make a little small talk with you before you immediately escape to the one room with all the cousins. The only small talk that they're able to come up with comes in a particular order. First is remembrance. Hi, you're Betty's daughter, right? Oh my God, you've grown up so much. This is usually the awkward stage where they might bring up that one time they changed your diaper. The second part is a question of age. They either ask how old you are currently or what grade level you're in. And then comes the third part, also known as the question, in all caps. It comes in two variants. It's either, so Jasmine, do you know where you want to go to for university? Or, do you know what you want to study later on? And then you go, I'm still not sure yet. And then the awkward laugh. From there comes the last part. Either the conversation ends with you feeling you disappointed them, or a suggestion. Doctors, lawyers, and Ivy League schools being the most common ones I hear. When the conversation ends, you leave with disappointment in yourself, feeling that you didn't meet their expectations that they would have for you. I've even tried to count how many I'm still not sure about it yet answers I've said in a single family gathering, and I ran out of fingers. Others say that we should just shrug it off, but it isn't easy. There isn't a clear set of instructions that we can follow in order to do so. You have this fear that whatever you decide will degrade this image your relatives have of you, and you're afraid that you'll become the center of family gossip, which I'll probably be after this talk, but if I'm completely honest, I don't want to be seen as a failure within my family. For some reason, we have this want to make others proud of ourselves, especially those who we're closest with. But what we forget to remember is that the main focus of all this is making ourselves proud of what we've done, how hard we've worked, and what we've achieved. Outside the family comes school. Most schools start preparing their students for university and college just when they enter high school. Suddenly, we have to choose our own subjects depending on what we want to pursue and what the university we want to go to requires. School counselors will usually ask for a moment with you and ask a bunch of questions just to know where you are. You know, they ask you about what you want to pursue, where you want to go, how your grades are like, and nowadays, also what extracurriculars you do. Again, you answer the first two questions with an undecided thought. Then comes grades. For most of us, they look at our grades and they're average. The school counselors will usually respond with something along the lines of, they're okay, but really try to get the highest grade, okay? In our minds, we as students know how much we struggle to even pass or how those grades make us feel when we get them and it's lower than we expected. Nowadays, extracurriculars are something that universities look for. They're trying to see the personality in us, away from our grades, and see how far we can take our hobbies and the things we love to do into incredible things. When they hear that you aren't doing enough, their voices drop. It's silent, but to you, it's a loud thud. Immediately, a rush of questions run through your mind. What should I do that will give color on my application, that will interest the person who's reading my essay? What will make the admissions person who's reading it think that this kid's cool? Here in the IB, when we get to high school, we're being given options on what subjects we need to take based on what we want to become and to fulfill our dream university's requirement. But like me, what if I don't know? How can I make that decision based off of criteria and requirements that to me don't even exist yet? You're afraid that once you have decided what you truly want to become, you can't turn back on certain subjects, and your dream of who you want to be ends there at that moment. Besides that, you're also afraid that this reputation you have at school will be ruined, whether it's because you didn't get a high grade or you didn't go to this really good school that everyone thought you would end up in. You know, they mention a lot about school alumni who have gone to succeed in great things, and they say that one day you'll be just like them. I look at the alumnus and immediately wonder how I'm even going to be able to reach that level. Do you think that all the teachers from the moment you stepped onto school grounds would be proud of you? Will you be invited as a guest speaker for a future batch's graduation ceremony? Do you think that you've lived up to where they thought you were? Or did you disappoint them? At one point, I was so lost that I even tried asking my friends on what they want to pursue and where they want to go. I hear their responses and immediately my self-esteem drops. They seem to have their whole life figured out. They know what major they want to study and where they want to go. You become jealous knowing that they're able to come up with an answer with no hesitation in their voice and stutters completely absent. Am I the only one who can't seem to figure their life out? And why is that? All of these things take a toll on us, and it hurts. Some nights I simply wonder how I'm going to even be able to make that decision with all of these questions coming down on me. Nobody really helps us mentally prepare ourselves for the things we might face, regrets we might have, effort we might end up sacrificing, and pressure we'll encounter. At the end of it all, you have to look back on your younger self and ask them if they would be proud of where you are now, whether it was the same answer we had to that one question 10 years ago. With that comes time. We're given around 12 years of education to figure out where we want to go after that. And for most people, 2/3 of those years didn't have them looking for an answer so difficultly to the question of what we want to be when we grow up. In my case, I've been looking for an answer since middle school started, and I still don't know what I want to pursue. It's sort of like a bomb. It's ticking down those 12 years, and in order to defuse it, you have to have an answer of where you want to go after those 12 years is up. If it's a good decision that you and others are proud of, it'll diffuse. If it's not, it'll explode, and it'll feel like all those 12 years just went down the drain. All of that time for nothing, and the bomb ticking down constantly stays in your mind 24/7. And of course, we want to end up diffusing that bomb with the decision that we fully support, of things we love and want to pursue. Doing so will give us the drive to do well in our jobs and make us feel happy and content with our lives because of that decision. The basis of those things are dreams. But what if those dreams are cloudy, or I can't seem to grasp on any of them? How can I decide that with that bomb ticking down? With time, what we should remember is that it's not a bomb we're ticking down. It's more of a story of our life. We write about things we're happy and proud of achieving, some valuable life lessons, and the occasional drama that happens. The pages are endless, and we can keep writing for as long as we want until we feel like we have the perfect ending to our story. 12 years in university aren't the limit. Our whole life is. At the end of the day, the only solution to all of this constant nagging and heavy amounts of pressure is to remember that it's your decision. Family, school, and time shouldn't be what makes us decide what we want to become. It shouldn't matter what others tell you to do, if you met their expectations or if you made them proud. What's important is that you're proud of yourself, that you end up doing the things you love and getting there with all the hard work you've done through the years, on your own pace. Take the time, focus on yourself, and do the things you love. It'll definitely be a roller coaster ride for some of us, some ups and downs, but you'll enjoy the whole experience. Enjoy the fact that you've struggled, cried, but also accomplished. Students and friends, just know that in the end, it's all up to you and this one life you have to dream on. Thank you.